Welcome to the Spirit Experience podcast, where we discuss spiritual practices for healing and happiness. Join us each Monday for enlightening conversations with spiritual teachers across a variety of practices and modalities. On this week's episode, we welcome Kat Storing. Kat is a Somatics Facilitator certified in Somastery. She's a best-selling author and a two-time TEDx Speaker. After a whirlwind of success and eventual burnout, Kat realized it was time to step back and rediscover herself. This quest led her on a profound journey of self-healing and exploration. From the lush landscapes of Bali to the depths of somatic experiences, she immersed herself in healing and growth. The process unveiled the trauma trapped within and guided her towards what she truly desired, helping others. Welcome to the show, Kat. So glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Oh, I know we're going to create a beautiful, beautiful episode. Yes. So one of the first things that I would love to hear from you is your own personal story of healing through a spiritual modality.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Such a great question. My spiritual healing has been ongoing for a while, but I would say about a year and a half is when I had both a spiritual awakening, spiritual breakdown, beliefs breakdown, all the things. And I had this moment of realizing I didn't want to have the same issues all the time. Like I felt like I was on a Groundhog Day where I kept having similar issues, and I knew if the people were changing and I was the same, then maybe, just maybe, it was not them, but it was me. And I got to tell you, that was the best thing I ever did. And I just went on a journey, and I decided I was going to put my mouth in my time and my money. Those three things where I said I wanted to be healed and healthier. So I went on a journey, and I began to microdose with ayahuasca. And I've been afraid of ayahuasca because, I hear it's so strong and people have this intense reactions. And listen, you can tell me, you can teach me anything, but you got to be gentle with me. Like, I don't like anything that is too strong. And microdosing was the best choice for me. I did it with a coach, and I did it last summer. And when I tell you, I had so many aha moments. I realized one of the main things that I realized is that I was trying to do business like I would gonna say a regular person with air quotes. And I realized I'm not a regular person. I am more of a spiritual person, and trying to do business like everybody else was not serving me or the people that I needed to serve. So I believe that everything started when I started microdosing.
Wow, that is truly a story. I've always been afraid of something like that myself, but I do love to hear people's stories about what transpires for them. So you definitely got some shifts from that.
I definitely did. One thing that I would say for people like me, get a coach, get someone that knows what they're doing. I don't need to see pretty colors. I am a pretty happy person. I laugh very wildly, all natural, right? Don't do it by yourself. Get yourself a coach, someone that knows exactly how to get you from point A to point Z, and that can listen to your concerns. One of my main concerns was that I didn't want to go too fast, and I wanted the process to be gentle. And that's exactly what it was. It was gentle. And one of the things that she said to me was, every week, since you're doing something so brave, do something nice for yourself. And I thought, oh my God, this is so amazing. Do something nice for myself. And I said, oh my God, I'm just going to give myself a massage one of the weeks, right? And then I said, let me get me a Reiki massage. I never done it before. I used to be very afraid of Reiki, but I said, give it a try. What do you have to lose? And when I tell you, when I did this, so I'm microdosing, okay, doing something different, something my mind is opening, it's expanding. I get the Reiki massage, and immediately I knew you need to do this as well. You need to learn it for yourself and for the people that you are here to serve. Had I not done microdosing, had she not said, do something nice for yourself, I probably would not have been opened to Reiki.
Oh, wow, that is a beautiful story. Yes. Let's move into some more questions because now I know that you've learned Reiki. You also do a process called Somatics, and you have a certification called Somastery. Tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Somatics came to me right that summer. So I'm doing all the things at the same time. I don't know how to go one toe into the water. I dive deep, okay? Really deep. So earlier, like in the fall of the previous year, I rediscovered somatics, and I know after done years of therapy, which I love and appreciate, I knew there had to be another modality that was faster, that could go in deeper, and that could help me heal from childhood things, right? Different types of trauma. And the more I learned about somatics, the more I was intrigued. And the more I felt some similarities with the type of business coaching and personal coaching that I was doing. And right after I finished the microdosing and then the Reiki, I was like, okay, you're gonna do that too. I had the opportunity to learn about somatics, and keeping my mind open. That's another thing that I'm going to say. Keep your mind open, because every training that I found was 3 years, 5 years long. Now, I already went to college. I already did that. I don't want to be a therapist. I'm good being a coach and having another modality that I can help people with. That works for me. It might not work for other people, but it works for me. So I knew I wanted to know what it was for myself. And I had a very strong intuition and suspicion that I was going to end up using it. And sure enough, our phones are always listening. The universe, God is always listening. And I stumble upon Somastery, which is the certification that I have in this program. I have 2 levels of it. And the first time I went through it, it was all for me, 110%. And the clear calling to it, but there was no doubt in my mind. I was like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow. For our listeners, would you give us a really good description of what somatics is?
Yeah. So to keep it very simple, somatics is how our body deals with trauma and emotions and energy. Anything and everything that happens to us has a memory in our body. It can be a good memory, it can be a bad memory. And what happens is the event takes place and is done, but the memory lives in our body, and it can be on auto repeat for years and years and years, and it's affecting our health, it's affecting our relationships, and sometimes these programs are running and we have no idea how they are affecting us.
Wow. So basically, it's how you heal all of the internal stuff. So guide us, we're going to do an exercise at the end of the show, but
Yes.
just kind of give us a little more description about how you use that process to reach the internal injuries.
Absolutely. So what happens is that at the time of the event, let's just call it, most often if the event is too much for our nervous system, we're gonna bypass, and we're not gonna be allow ourselves to feel the emotion. And that's why the emotion gets trapped in our bodies. And that's where everything just goes haywire, right? So what we do is we connect with the mind, connect with the body, connect with the spirit, and we connect with imagination. So we have different channels to connect with. And when we're connecting through those different channels, we are moving this sensation, this trauma memory from our body. We're able to give it time to be felt and understood. And as we do that, we realize that we can move it. And if we can move it, we can heal it.
Oh, yes. Tell us how you work with clients to go through those processes you just listed.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of somatics, that if you have a somatic therapist, a somatic facilitator, most of the time these people are so gifted that they are going to weave in their own modality and their own gifting to make it their own, like hopefully. But basically, it is a guided meditation. And what I have learned to do is to build a relationship with the people that I help. And most of the time, those people are entrepreneurs, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that go through a lot of stuff. And if we're human beings, we are going through stuff all the time. So it's a guided meditation where I make the connection first. Where are they? What are they struggling with? How can we connect the dots with? Sometimes they'll say, I'm having this relationship issues and I don't know why. And intuitively, most of the time, I just begin to ask questions. And then I said, I know where we need to go. And then if they trust me, and I always ask them if they trust me, then we start the guided meditation. They are seated and we need to see each other. It's amazing how we could do it via Zoom. There's no need to be in person. I actually almost prefer it to be via Zoom because there's some reverence to it and they probably feel a little more comfortable. And as I guide them through, start in the positive, get them really comfortable. And that one, the positive is what we're going to do at the end. That session that I told you about, it's going to be amazing. And get them really comfortable in their body. And then I take them in through a series of questions. Now, the questions they're not familiar with, the questions I'm listening and watching their body. That's why it needs to be a camera, because the body is telling me how they're breathing, how they're not breathing, how they begin to move. Sometimes, many times, there's a lot of involuntary movement that takes place because the energy begins to move through their bodies. And then we lean into those movements and let our body tell us how much they can handle and be able to guide them safely through the process. And sometimes, depending on how big the trauma is, we might have to do several sessions about the same situation in different ways. Because as you heal, we begin to uncover different levels of the trauma.
Oh, very, very powerful. And I know that, you work with people through a number of different, let's say, healing requests, but I know you also work with entrepreneurs, and that's something that you have a big heart for, because being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart, right? And if we go into it with all of these memories held in our bodies, it can limit us. So explain a little bit about how you work with people who want to come to you for a session around, falling in love with their business again.
Yeah, that you've definitely said it so beautifully. This is something that I had to go through, which is why I decided to go and get some healing myself. After 2020, I know a lot of people went through a lot. I was completely and utterly burned out. And I've been an entrepreneur my whole entire life. I love it. It is what runs through my body. That's what I love to do. And I found myself hating every moment of it. And one of the symptoms that I didn't realize was a symptom of the burnout is I was not able to go online. And that's how people found me. I love video. It's one of the things that I love doing, and I couldn't do it. And I couldn't put two and two together. I did not understand why I couldn't go and post videos and be seen. And part of getting that certification was me getting sessions from advanced students, people that already had their certification. And it was such a beautiful thing to be able to talk and get healing from different people that were so gifted. And that's how I discovered that I had business trauma that I was hiding to protect myself because I didn't want to, quote unquote, fail again. And I equated being seen with potentially getting hurt. And lo and behold, I begin to talk to people. Most of my friends and the people that I know are also entrepreneurs because that's what I am, right? And I began to see the similarities. They also were having issues about being seen and showing up and sharing with others how they can help them. And then because I already gone through it, I knew what it was. I could tell that there was some business trauma there. I could tell that The problem was not the business, but whatever happened in between. And sometimes whatever happened before when they were children. I have been able to help people, even though I'm not a hypnotherapist, I have been able to help people go back to their childhood, to specific experiences, and be able to see where the trauma began.
Wow. That's something I am familiar with, using hypnosis for doing that, and even going further than our childhood. And I truly relate to the idea
Wow.
that I just, there were times I just couldn't go online. It was avoidance, and it was really about healing some things within me so that I could move forward. I have not
Absolutely.
experienced somatics, but I did use some other spiritual practices to deal with that. What else would you like listeners to know about somatics, and maybe even going back to your original topic of the ayahuasca?
I know a lot of people get really good at dealing with pain and trying everything that they can other than looking inwards. So I would say, whatever you can do to get off the race, and that it is valid to say, time out, I need a break. I need to figure out what is wrong with me. I need to be okay. Because what many women specifically learn is they learn business. I used to learn business from men. They're very powerful, very dynamic, and they're go, 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 right? So I got this masculine energy and I was exhausted. Somatic helped me go back into my feminine. And I don't want to do business like that anymore because it doesn't serve me. So find people that look and sound like you, be who you are, find out who you are here to serve, and do it in your own authentic way without trying to follow anybody else's footsteps. One of the things that I would highly recommend others to do is to learn from someone that sounds and looks like them. People cannot connect with you if they haven't been through the same struggles, culturally, spiritually, that you have. That is major. I used to learn from men because at the time when I started my business a long time ago, men were on the lead and they were the coaches that were really sharing how to get yourself out there because they're really good at that. They're very, very good. But then I was doing it like a man. And there's nothing wrong if a man is doing that or if a woman wants to do it that way, but I didn't. I was exhausted all the time. And I'm like, why am I so exhausted? Why am I so anxious? I'm not even an anxious person, but I was going all the time. I was not resting. I was in this energy of the numbers, and I love numbers. Listen, I have not seen a spreadsheet that I don't like, and I always have an extra calculator with me, but there's more than numbers. There's actually people. These are actually amazing people that have been attached to you in a way that they are meant to work with you. So the numbers are great, but also these are people. How do we help these people in the way that is like us? And you only get to know how you're supposed to do it if you take a time out and you decide that you want to find out what type of coach, what type of business owner you are meant to be without looking at how others have done it before you, how you are supposed to do it, how you want to do it. When you do those things, you're going to be unstoppable, and your people are going to raise their hand and say, oh my God, you don't have to say anymore. How do I give you money? We need to, we must, we have to work together.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that that works so well with people who want to be entrepreneurs. And I related to a lot of what you were saying there in my own journey as well. But I know that everything that you just said applies to anyone who might not be interested in, having a business. The same thing is true for whatever you might want in your life, to find the people that you resonate, just the way you just said it. And you said it so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. I think right now I would love for you to take our listeners through a somatic exercise as we close out the show.
Yeah, that would be amazing. All right, what we're going to do we are going to go through the Goddess Garden. All right, whenever you're ready, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I want you to connect to your breath. Slow your breath down and listen to yourself. Take a deep breath and then very slowly release it, letting go of anything that has happened today, letting go of what you wanted to happen, taking another deep breath. Yes, I can see you're letting go of so many things that have been frustrating today. That's okay. Right now, it's all about you. Now it's going to be our next very special breath. As you release this breath, I want you to imagine yourself with no shoes, wearing your most comfortable, most favorite outfit. I hope you got it. And barefooted, I want you to begin walking into this amazing garden. The grass is tickling your toes. You can hear to your left a river, ever so quietly, welcoming you into the Goddess Garden. Your dress is, my goodness, you look amazing. You're still concentrating on your breath in and out, coming into your body, leaving your body. Can you hear that? Birds are chirping. On your right hand, butterfly bobs around, just looking at you. Ah, what do you see in this garden? What animals are roaming around freely, happy to see you? I think I forgot to mention that this is a magical garden. And here you can be anything you want. You can let your guard down. You can skip. You can dance. You can just be. Let's take a few more steps, going deeper into the garden. I want you to put your arms down and imagine things falling off your shoulders. Comments that did not sit well with you. Limitations given to you by others. Wonderful visions that were not in alignment with where you want to go and who you want to become. In this garden, you get to see yourself exactly as you are. And I gotta tell you, it is incredible how beautiful, generous, loving, and kind you are. Something tells me there is a question that you have been wondering about. It's a question that has been dancing in your heart. I don't know it. Don't worry. I cannot see it. But in this Goddess garden, you're gonna have the strength to finally listen to the answer. Open your arms next to you. Extend them wide. Heart, I hear you. Whatever you heard, it's between you and your heart. Tonight, when you put your head on your pillow, your heart will speak to you. the answer you have been seeking, because it knows it can trust you. This magical place is within you, and you can access it anytime and as often as you need to or want to. Coming back into your body very, very slowly. Begin to move your fingers and your toes ever so slowly. And when you're ready, very gently begin to open your eyes and look around the room. Look to your left, look to your right, look above you. Welcome back, my dear. Welcome back. That was a abbreviated version of the Goddess Garden, but I hope that it gave you a little glimpse of what's possible when you go within and listen.
Thank you, Kat. That was a beautiful guided meditation. I appreciate you sharing that with our listeners.
My pleasure.
Kat, thank you so much for being on the show today. And I would love it if you could tell our listeners where you would love for them to find you. I will put all of that in the show notes, plus other ways that they might reach out to you. But what's your preferred way for them to talk with you?
Absolutely. Instagram is where I hang out the most under Catherine Storing. And my website has a lot of resources as to how to connect and how somatics might be able to help them is catherinestoring.com.
Perfect. Thank you again for being here, and I hope that you will come back in the future. I had a beautiful, beautiful time with you today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to the Spirit Experience podcast, where we discuss spiritual practices for healing and happiness. To join one of our free Spirit Experience classes, see the link in the show notes. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next Monday.